Hello everybody, this is the iPhone channel here. So today I'm going to review to you guys the iPad 4 to see whether or not it's worth buying or not, as it's 12 years old. So why not? Let's begin. The iPad 4 was first released in November of 2012. Yes, and it actually featured a Lightning connector as well as an A6X dual-core 1.4 GHz chip, which could actually hold 1 GB of RAM. And it actually features a 9.7-inch 1536 by 2048 display with a pixel density of 264 pixels per inch, which is quite decent at the time. And it actually incorporates quite giant bezels, unfortunately, unlike many of the modern iPads. And it actually runs iOS 10 from 2016, which is actually unsupported. Let me show you guys that many of the apps do not support this iPad. And this iPad has a battery which could purportedly last 10 hours. As well as a headphone jack, and there's actually one speaker. Now over here is a 16 gig variant, and as you can see, this iPad does support 16, 32, 64 or 128 gigs, and unfortunately there is actually no micro SD expansion of any kind, nor is there actually ProMotion, no water resistance of any kind. And I do reckon there's actually several hundred nits of max brightness, and this does support 802.11 ABGN Wi-Fi with Bluetooth 4.0. Unfortunately, this iPad is not affected by the 3G shutdown. And as for the camera, this iPad does have a 5 megapixel f2.4 aperture camera with LED flash and 1080p video recording, which is quite decent. And it actually has a 1.2 megapixel front camera which only records 720p. Okay guys, here's actually a video sample of the iPad 4. Now ironically, my parents who are in their 70s still use an iPad 4 to actually record videos, despite the fact they actually have the latest and greatest iPhone. I actually saw them using an iPad 4 running iOS 6. I'm not even joking. Actually take a picture of them with me. Now my father is actually in his mid-70s, my mother is in her early 60s, and I'm actually in my 20s, so I was actually born in the early 2000s. Okay guys, so on to using the iPad 4. Unfortunately, the battery does not last long because this iPad is 12 years old. And unfortunately, many apps have compatibility issues with the iPad, as you can see. But if you were to purchase the app, it is going to be fine because you could actually download the last compatible version. Let me show you guys. Yep. And unfortunately, the YouTube app does not work anymore. Nor does it actually work on Safari. But if you want to circumvent the YouTube blockade, then you do have to switch to Chrome. However, YouTube is quite slow on Chrome, but it does work. Let me show you guys. It is actually Chrome over here. And as you can see, I'm now playing my video about the Surface RT, which unfortunately does not work on YouTube anymore. And as you can see, the iPad could scroll through menus quite smoothly. And actually loading websites do depend heavily based on the website. So as you can see, Google does load quite fast, but Reddit does load a bit slow. And actually, if you play games, then Temple Run would actually work, but with some lag, as you can see over there. And Crossy Roads does actually work quite fine. As you can see, a successful game. And Asphalt 8 unfortunately does not work anymore. And Twitter, which is actually now called X, actually does not work and requires an update, but Gmail does work. And so does FaceTime, as well as first-party apps like iMessage actually still work. And Google Maps actually still works and could take you directions, but it is slow. So here's actually a conclusion. This iPad, I do believe, is kind of worth it because it's actually around $30 to $40, depending on the storage configuration. But in reality, I would not bet on it lasting for long because this software, iOS 10, is now 8 years old. And in about 2 or 3 years, you could see like services dropping for this version of iOS. So actually use it as long as you can. But in reality, many of the first-party apps could actually still support. What I do recommend is for light browsing and maybe light games and stuff, which is actually great. So thank you guys for watching. Please give a big thumbs up, subscribe for more videos, and I'm gonna see you guys soon. Sorry for the syncing issues.